My brothers and sisters, what is good, everybody? Steel Sermon in the house late Tuesday night with another video for you guys. And just got done watching that Monday night upset between the Broncos and the Seahawks, where Nathaniel Hackett should have to walk back to Denver, Colorado. But yeah, that'll conclude week one, a very crazy week, to say the very least, as I went 9-7 this in this first week of the season. Week one's always unpredictable. You never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, that's week one for you. So these are my week two picks of the 2022 season, and the standings are posted on my Instagram. So in case you don't know where you are in the standings, just take a look at it right there. But these are my week two picks of the 2022 NFL season. And first of all, like I always say, if you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted down below. And also, just remember the new rules, all right? You don't need scores for every single game. You just need a score prediction for your spread prediction, all right? And then on top of that, you need an upset and a lock of the week. So you don't need scores for every single game that you predict. Just keep that in mind. I had a couple people, give score predictions for every single game. And, I get that it's hard to get acclimated to a new system. I understand that, but just keep that in mind. But, yeah, these are my week two picks, and let's get on to it. Kicking things off on Thursday night, we got a dandy of a game. We got an AFC West showdown between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Like I said, this has all the makings to be an offensive explosion of a game, and for all the right reasons, man. Chargers coming off a win over Vegas. Justin Herbert played incredible, as we all expected. But then you got Kansas City. I mean, no Tyreek Hill, no Tyrann Mathieu. The offensive line not looking great. No Byron Pringle. No problem. 44-21 over Arizona. Mahomes went off throwing 5 touchdown passes. Kansas City just completely dominated, not looking like they missed a beat on offense, man. So, honestly, for this game, this is going to, be offensive firework of a show, man. Just lighten up the scoreboard with these quarterbacks right here. Kind of has the makings to be, kind of like what that Rams-Chiefs game was a couple years ago in Mexico City, I believe that game was played. But, yeah, I'm high on the Chargers this year, and this past Sunday really proved why. But, man, I just did not expect Kansas City to look that dominant with the losses that they had in the offseason. Now, granted, I don't think Arizona's the greatest team, but still, Kansas City went out there and dominated. But, something that I've been saying all offseason is this. If there's one team that can challenge Kansas City in the AFC West, I think it is the LA Chargers. And this is the biggest reason why. They've won 3 out of the last 4 games in Kansas City. Now, granted, no, wait, you know what? One of those games was actually on Thursday night in Kansas City. But here's the thing now. It's the month of September, and Patrick Mahomes just does not lose in September. So this one required a lot of thought, and this was really close to being my spread pick for the week. But after thinking about it really hard, if I had to go against my own rules and allow 2 spread prediction games, I would say that this is my second one. But I'm going to go with the traditional one, and I'm just going to say that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to come out on top for this game. But if I had to pick another spread, I would actually say the Chargers would cover. Now that I think about it, the Chiefs are favored by 3 for this game, I think. I have the spread up in the video, but last I checked, I think it was 3 Kansas City was favored by. I think that's a perfect line right there for Kansas City, so yeah, I think this should be a 3-point game. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. I wanted to pick LA just because they have the Chiefs number in Arrowhead. But it's September. Mahomes doesn't lose in September. What I saw from Kansas City on Sunday was absolutely incredible. I'm going to go ahead and say the Kansas City Chiefs improved to 2-0. Chargers lose a hard-fought game, but come up just short. Give me Kansas City to beat LA. Then we got the Sunday slate of games. First at bat, we got the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. This one is in Cleveland, as the Jets expectedly coming off a loss to the Baltimore Ravens, game in which Lamar Jackson threw hog wild on them in the second half. And then the Cleveland Browns, they surprisingly got the job done over Carolina. Jacoby Brissett had a really good game against Carolina. Browns defense looked good. They kind of let up a little bit in the fourth quarter, but Cade York hitting a 58-yard field goal to win the game for the Browns, and that was the first time that the Browns had won a Week 1 game in 18 years. So Cleveland's 1-0 for the first time in 18 years. So, yeah, man, the Jets, they just did not look good against the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns, they clicked on all cylinders. Well, maybe not on all cylinders, but they looked very good against Carolina. Even Kareem Hunt had a touchdown run against them. So I don't know what the full story, what they're doing with Kareem Hunt is. Regardless, I think the Browns get to 2-0. I think that they should not have a problem with the Jets here. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Cleveland Browns get the job done over the New York Jets. So give me Cleveland to improve to 2-0. Next up, we got a very interesting one. We got the Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions. This one's up in Detroit, so the Lions are staying home. Washington gets the job done over Jacksonville, but they nearly blew a big lead on the Jags, but they were able to hold on in the end and knock off the Jags. They're 1-0, and they're playing the Detroit Lions, who lost the game to Philly, and they were down multiple scores to Philly a couple times in the game. But Detroit, you know, like I said, I mean, they're not really a good team. But I'm telling you, this group of players up in Detroit, they like playing for Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's a football guy. He's a tough, hard-nosed guy. He will get up in players' faces, and he will get them motivated to give it their 100% effort every single game. And I respect Campbell so much for that, man. I hope Detroit can bring him a winner. I hope that Campbell can put a winning product on the field someday. The Lions, they're just not there yet, but they play tough every single game. I don't think Detroit's a playoff team by any means, but, you know, give them a couple years. The Lions, they could be a threat. They really like playing for Dan Campbell. I think he's a competent coach. Washington, they almost let one get by the Jaguars. And the Lions, they're going to put up a fight almost every single game. And this was honestly very close to being my upset of the week. But seeing that Detroit's favored for this game, I'm actually going to go ahead and do something that I haven't done in a while. Pick the Lions to win a game. That's right, I'm going Detroit, baby. I think that these players finally seal the deal for a game for Dan Campbell, and he gets his first win of the year as a head coach, and the Lions improved to 500 to beat the Washington Commanders. Give me Detroit to knock off the Commanders. The Lions, they're going to play hard, and I think week 2 is the week that they'll get the job done. Give me Detroit over Washington. Okay, next up, an NFC South showdown. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. This one is down in NOLA as the Bucs get it done over Dallas 19-3. They're 1-0. Tom Brady still undefeated against the Cowboys. He is now 7-0 in his career against Dallas. And then you got the New Orleans Saints. They rallied from a 16-point deficit against Atlanta in the fourth quarter. Then the Falcons do what the Falcons do best, which is choke a lead away in the fourth quarter and lose. So, yeah, the Saints are 1-0 in comeback fashion. Couple things I got to say for this game. Tampa's offense did not impress me Sunday night. I thought that they were, going to go off Sunday night with the newest addition of Julio and Tom Brady come back at age 45 playing extra motivated now. Not that he needs to, but still, you get the point. So you figure Tampa Bay is going to put together a good offensive game. Well, not really. I wasn't impressed with how Tampa played. Brady got sacked a couple times and threw an interception even. I don't even remember if he threw a touchdown pass against Dallas. But Tampa's defense looks really good. I mean, that's something I also expected Tampa to look. That defense looks really good for Tampa. Then you got the New Orleans Saints. Their offense looks like it can be productive, and it looks like they can put points on the board and they can rally. But I don't know about the Saints. I mean, they're kind of a tricky team to decipher, although I will say I was high on New Orleans' defense this year. They kind of let up against Atlanta. Now, granted, Atlanta always plays New Orleans tough. But if there's one team that the Saints always play tough, it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 4-1 against the Buccaneers since Brady became their QB. And I'm going to say they improved to 5-1, honestly. Yeah, that's right. I'm going with the Saints to knock off the Bucs. The Bucs just can't beat the Saints in New Orleans for whatever reason, except for the playoff game. But still, they just can't beat the Saints. The Saints just always give them a hard time, especially with defense. They have the defense that can lock down Brady's offense, and it's shown ever since Brady went down to Tampa Bay. And like I said, I just wasn't impressed with Tampa's defense Sunday night. I think the New Orleans Saints are going to get the job done and improve to 2-0. Give me the Saints to knock off the Bucs in New Orleans. All right, I really didn't want to make this one the toilet bowl of the week, but I really don't even think it's that bad because it's just that the other matchups are more enticing. So I guess this one is just it by default. We got the Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. This one is in New York. The Panthers coming off a loss to the Browns, as I just said. Baker Mayfield really didn't look all that impressive against the Browns. So then again, it's just Cleveland knows Baker Mayfield. So I guess that's it right there. But yeah, Carolina, they're just not a good team. Matt Rule is an absolute terrible head coach, and I don't know why he's still down there in North Carolina. They got the New York Giants. They had a very impressive win against Tennessee, a massive upset of the Titans. They were down 13-0 Tennessee at halftime. And the one thing that the Giants have been longing for ever since Daniel Jones was drafted was a good head coach for him. Okay? I think if you give Daniel Jones a good head coach, I think Daniel Jones can be a serviceable starter. And this guy, Brian DeBall, I think he could be it for Daniel Jones. Because after Jones threw that interception in the red zone against the Titans, DeBall ripped him a new one, and that lit a fire underneath Daniel Jones, and he played much better for the rest of the way, including leading the game, a touchdown to make it 20-19. And then Brian DeBall, who's also a football guy, went for two. Gutsy call right there, and he hit the 2-point conversion to give the Giants the lead. Titans missed a field goal, and the Giants were a winner, 21-20 over the Titans. Saquon Barkley went off in that game. He had like 160 yards on the ground. So Saquon Barkley, phenomenal game against the Titans. And him going up against another poor rush defense right there in Carolina. Yeah, man, the Giants are off to a good start. An impressive win, and I like him in this game. I'm going to say the Giants get to 2-0. Who would think I'd be saying that? The Giants start the season off 2-0. That being said, I still think New York's passing offense needs to do a little bit better, but still, like, the Giants, they might have something going for them in MetLife over there, and I think they win their home opener. Give me the New York Football Big Blue Giants to put the Carolina Panthers and Baker Mayfield at 0-2. Give me the Giants to knock off the Panthers. Well, we knew this one was coming. Next up, we got my matchup. We got our home opener. We got the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Still calling it Heinz Field. Yep, Patriots and the Steelers. Now, obviously, 3 years ago, when these two met last time 3 years ago, New England blew us out of the water on opening night 33-3. And it's just not the same anymore, man. You know, when you think of Patriots Steelers, you think of Brady versus Ben. Now you get Mac Jones versus Mitch Trubisky. Wow. If someone told me that this would be the QB matchup between these two franchises, 3 years ago, I would have recommended an insane asylum for you. But it's reality now, so let's start with... I'm going to try to keep this at a minimum, so let's start with the Patriots. They got absolutely crushed by Miami the other day, 20-7. Their offense is very stale, man. And I think Bill Belichick is an incredibly overrated head coach. He's the most overrated coach of all time. That guy is absolutely nothing without Tom Brady, and it's showing, man. It really is. He is absolutely nothing without Tom Brady. Because, actually, you know what? He's nothing without Tom Brady and Bill Parcells. Those two made Belichick's entire coaching career. Okay? He's a terrible GM. He doesn't know how to develop or put good receivers on this team. The defense can only do so much for New England, but they need to be able to have some continuity with offense. And Mac Jones, so far I'm just going to say he's not the guy. He's just another check down artist and another game manager like Alex Smith, plain and simple. I just don't think Mac Jones is the guy. New England, they'll put up a fight on defense, but that's about it. If New England gets to the playoffs this year, it's going to be by total default. I'm just saying that right now. But that's not to say that we're much better than New England. I think that we're better than them, but really it's kind of not saying a bit because, I'm going to make a separate video about TJ Watt and Najee Harris. I got that uploading right now, actually. But, yeah, our defense played really well on Sunday, but, TJ Watt, we cannot afford to lose that guy long term. We can't afford him to have, a major injury. Cam Hayward got injured too. I think that he'll be at least okay. Same thing with Alex Highsmith. I don't know, the latest developments yet. I'm just going to have to play it by ear for right now. But this offense, man, needs to do way better. Mitch Trubisky had a couple really dumb moments, but then again, in the end, he did take Chris Boswell in the field goal range to win the game for us in overtime, but it should not have come down to overtime because Mike Tomlin horribly mismanaged the second half, man. And that's something that he has done time and time and time again as head coach of this team for 15 years now. You can't get, I'm saying this, if we have a 14-point lead against New England at any point in this game, I need to see us be aggressive with this. We can't have a repeat because I'm starting to lose faith in Matt Canada. All these years, I kept making excuses for the OC. Randy Fichtner. Offense is staling with Randy Fichtner. Well, he doesn't have Big Ben, Big Ben's older now. He's coming off an injury. He has backups to work with. He doesn't have much of a run game. Matt Canada comes in. Well, maybe a 39-year-old Big Ben is just not the QB for Matt Canada's system. And now Big Ben's gone, and you get Mitch Trubisky in here. And it's the same offense that I've seen since 2019. I'm starting to put some blame on Matt Canada. This is Matt Canada's offense, which is why if we move on from this guy in the offseason, if we have a bottom five defense or offense again, I want us to hire from outside the organization. Okay? No more in-house promotions. I don't care who it is. Because these QB coaches being promoted to offensive coordinators, it's obviously not working. When Chase Claypool, our wide receiver, is our leading rusher, that is very concerning. And speaking of injuries, Najee, thankfully his injury wasn't serious, so I don't know if he's going to play in this game. I'll hear about it for Tomlin Tuesday. But, yeah, man, I expect this to be strictly a defensive game for all the wrong reasons. It's just whose offense sucks more. That's what it all comes down to, man. However, I will say this. I think that our defense is... I will say this, though. I think our offense right now is better than New England's offense. Again, not saying much, but if you put them in the same room and you ask me to pick who the better offense is, I'd say us, because we have better talent at receivers than New England does, and we have a little bit more of a development at quarterback right now. Again, not saying much, but that's just my take on it. So, I'm going to do something that I don't think I've ever done before. I am going to pick us to beat the New England Patriots and get the 2-0. It's crazy. I think this is the first time in the history of my Pick'em tournament that I've ever picked us to beat the Patriots. And you want to know why that's the case? It's just because Brady would own us all this time. But this is the third year Brady's been out of New England. It's crazy to think that. This is the first time I am ever picking us to beat the Patriots. So I think that we'll get it done with defense. I think the offense will have the offense should have a better game in this game. But again, I'm not holding my breath on it. But I think that we can beat the Patriots. This is a very beatable team. More of it in my preview video later this week. But I think we get the job done. I think that we win the home opener. We get the 2-0. Then we got a tough task going on the road for a shortened week to play the Browns in week 3. We'll see from there. But yes, I do think that we can beat the Patriots and get the 2-0. So let's go, baby. All right, next up. Indianapolis Colts heading down to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. As the Colts, you tell me what went wrong. They tied with Houston. I don't know how that happens. And it's not like Indy blew a lead on them. Houston was blowing them out at one point, and the Colts tied with them. If that's going to be the story of the offense of the year for the Colts, I'm not even going to consider them making the playoffs. They tied with Houston. I just can't get over that. Then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mentioned this in my Commanders-Lions pick. Jacksonville came back. It looks like they're starting to get a little bit better. Still, I don't think they're a good team. I still think they're the worst team in that division. But it looks like Jacksonville has something going for them. But if you remember one thing, the Colts, they just can't seem to win in Jacksonville, as we've seen the past 7 or 8 times that they went down there. Indianapolis has a long losing streak in Jacksonville. They haven't won in Jacksonville in about a decade. That's pretty alarming, considering how awful the Jaguars have been. So yeah, I said it also that the Commanders and the Lions, that was a close consideration for my upset. Well, this was in a close consideration as well, seeing that the line that the Colts are favored by a bunch. So this was in close consideration for upset too, but I still think I'm going to roll with the upset. I'm going to go ahead and take Jacksonville. That's right. Indianapolis tied with Houston, and they can't win in Jacksonville. This screams trap game, man. But again, it's not quite my upset of the week. Okay, I got a better game for that coming up, but yeah, this is definitely upset worthy right here. This is like a close second for me. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars to get their first win of the year, continue their winning streak and dominance of the Colts in Indianapolis. Or Jacksonville, rather. Give me the Jags to knock off the Colts in Jacksonville again. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins heading on up to Baltimore to face the Ravens. Pretty interesting one here. The Ravens dominated the Patriots 20-7. Tua is now 4-0 against Belichick. How about that? And then the Ravens, they took care of business against the Jets. Lamar Jackson went off in the second half. He threw a bomb, I think it was to their draft pick and Bateman, I believe. So yeah, the Ravens, they had no problem against the Jets, really. Honestly, this was a tricky one for me to decide. On one hand, I really like Miami's defense, and I really like their receivers. I think Tyreek Hill is just still trying to get a little bit more chemistry with Tua. But still, like, Miami has a good group of receivers. I think the Dolphins will make things very interesting in the AFC. On the other hand, though, the Ravens, I think that they are just too good right now on offense. And I think that they're really starting to develop more. And I like Baltimore's defense a lot as well. This is going to be a big test for Tua, man. If Tua can play well against Baltimore's defense at full strength, because last year the Dolphins did beat the Ravens last year, but I think everyone knows that Baltimore was crippled last year. Now they're relatively healthy for this game. I don't see how the Dolphins heading on up to Baltimore to get the win. Like, I think that the Dolphins will keep it really close and they'll give them a good game, but I just think that the Ravens are just a slightly better team right now. Give me the Ravens as much as I want Miami to win, but give me Baltimore to beat the Dolphins here. Okay, kicking off the later games, we got the Falcons at the Rams in LA. The Falcons, well, they did what they do best. They choke a fourth quarter lead and lose to the Saints. They're 0-1. Marcus Mariota played better than I thought, but still Atlanta, they just can never seal the deal. The Rams last Thursday got completely dominated in the second half by the Bills. I mean, LA didn't play a good game at all. Matthew Stafford threw 3 picks, and all 3 of them are his fault. Defense was stale. Ramsey talked all that crap about Josh Allen, and he got absolutely cooked all game. Jalen Ramsey's the most overrated corner in the game. I don't care what anybody says. The Rams, yeah, they just, in my opinion, they just got beat by the better team. Plain and simple. But now they're going up against a weaker team here. Matthew Stafford always does well against weak opponents. Really don't need to say much. LA's favored by 11 here. I think the Rams will get this win. I don't see the Rams starting 0-2. They're too good of a team to start 0-2. Let alone lose to a team like Atlanta. So give me LA to win this one. I got the Rams rebounding easily here to get this win. Next up, Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. This one is in San Francisco. Well, the Seahawks are surprisingly 1-0 because Denver's head coach is an idiot and decided to kick for a 64-yard field goal instead of go for it on 4th and 5 when they had all 3 timeouts. So Seattle's 1-0, although I will say Geno Smith played pretty well. It looks like he's playing to earn that starting quarterback role. So, yeah, Seattle's 1-0, and in my opinion, they earned that win. Then you got the 49ers. I don't know what happened to San Francisco, but they just looked completely just lifeless against the Bears. They had a 10-0 lead on Chicago, and they allowed the Bears to come back and beat them. But a big news for San Francisco, and it could be detrimental for them. Eric Armstead expected to miss time for the 49ers. That is something they can't afford to lose. That right there is going to help San Francisco's ground pound run game right there. And losing a guy like him, I think that's going to be devastating for the 49ers. But I mean, Deebo Samuel's still a stud. I think that they got to incorporate his trickery plays with this game. They got to get creative on offense for this game. But I don't know, man. I think Geno Smith is playing with a purpose this year, and I think he's playing to prove that he's capable of being a starter in this league. So, San Francisco's favored by 8. This is the moment you guys have been waiting for. This is my upset of the week. That's right, I'm going Seattle. I was pretty impressed with what I saw from the Seahawks on Monday night. Their defense looked like it can be a little productive. It's making strides. And I think that they're going to take advantage that the 49ers are going to be without Eric Armstead. So, yeah, I'm going to go upset here, baby. I got the Seahawks going to San Francisco, beating the 49ers. And also, Pete Carroll, he has San Francisco's number. He just doesn't lose to the 49ers, and they always beat them in San Francisco, too. Like, I can't remember the last time the Seahawks lost in San Francisco. Maybe 2018 now that I think about it. I don't know, but the point is, Seahawks, they just always seem to beat the 49ers. This is my upset of the week. Seahawks over the 49ers. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys. This one is down in Big D. As the Bengals, we all know what happened. They're 0-1. Mounted a comeback, and they fell short. However, I will say this. If I was a Bengals fan, I don't know why on earth I'd do that, but if I was a Bengals fan, I would be livid at Zach Taylor right now. Because let me tell you guys this, alright? I'm saying this right here, right now. That was a touchdown by Jamar Chase. The referees missed that call. That's a touchdown all day. However, Zach Taylor, what are you doing, dude? You have all 3 timeouts, and it's before the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. Why do you not challenge that? His foot is over the plane, and he's dragging his toe out of bounds with control of the ball and possession of the ball. That's a touchdown. That's as easy of an overturn that you're going to get. Why does he not challenge that? Number 2, kicking on third down. Aren't you supposed to be one of the more aggressive coaches in the league? So why are you kicking on third down? I'm telling you, Bengals fans, Joe Burrow played an awful game, don't get me wrong. But I would put this loss on Zach Taylor. He cost you the game when it mattered most. Joe Burrow just, lost it for you early on. But he got himself together, and he mounted a comeback for you guys to be back in the game. Zach Taylor cost you that game, man. I'd be livid at Zach Taylor if I was a Bengals fan, okay? Because, yes, that was a terrible missed call by that referee, no doubt. But Zach Taylor should have challenged it. And if you saw me in Steel Twins' stream the other day, you would have heard me say, Zach Taylor's got to challenge this. That's a touchdown. So, yeah, man. I don't know what Zach Taylor was thinking, but he's got to challenge that. Anyway, Bengals fell short. McPherson. And by the way, I know a lot of Bengal fans are saying that, the long snapper situation. Well, guess what? That falls on Zach Taylor, too. It's basic head coaching that you mean to tell me that you don't have a backup plan in case something goes wrong? That's basic head coaching. That loss is on Zach Taylor. Plain and simple. Then you got the Dallas Cowboys. They looked really bad against the Buccaneers. And the big news in Dallas, Dak Prescott needs hand surgery. So he's going to miss a lot of time. And it's just 2020 all over again for the Cowboys. Although I will say this, even when Dak was in the game, the Cowboys didn't look good. So I don't really think it's going to make much of a difference. If you would have asked me before the season started, I probably would have went with Dallas. But just because Dak is out, I think that is going to make a big difference here. I'm going to say the Bengals get the 500, dropping Dallas to 0-2. Give me the Bengals to beat the Cowboys here. Next up, we got the Houston Texans and the Denver Broncos. This one is down in Denver. Honestly, this game may be a little bit closer than what people think. I don't know too much about the Texans, but it looks like that Davis Mills can be a competent starter for them. Just me, though. And then you got the Broncos. I was not impressed with how Denver played at all. They were terrible at the goal line. That's just Russell Wilson's kryptonite, the goal line. Going back to Super Bowl 49. I just wasn't impressed with Denver. Their defense looked really bad. That's supposed to be the strong suit for the Broncos. Their run game didn't look all that good. I mean, sure, Russell Wilson had that strike. I think it was like a 68-yarder, 67-yarder, whatever it was, to Jerry Jeudy. But that was really it, what the Broncos did on offense. And then, of course, Nathaniel Hackett, his dumbass deciding to kick a 64-yard field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 5. I don't know what he was thinking right there. Probably smoking some of that good Denver shroom down there, but Denver, I think that they may be overrated coming into this year. And I think that Monday night game proved why, you know. However, I think the Broncos avoid 0-2 here, and I think they get the job done over Houston. They tied with Indianapolis, so, that has to be a positive for Texans fans. Can't say it's a dub, because obviously it isn't, but it has to be a positive for them, so let me put it to you like that. But I think Denver avoids 0-2, and they get the job done over Houston. But if Denver loses this game, I would officially say Denver's overrated. But I'm going to say that the Broncos, find themselves and they get the job done over the they get the job done over the Texans. Okay, next up, Arizona Cardinals at the Las Vegas Raiders. This one is in Vegas. Cardinals got absolutely whooped by Kansas City the other day. And the Raiders, they lost a tough one to the Chargers. Although Davante Adams played as advertised, 10 catches for 140 yards. Yeah, I think he's going to be really good in Vegas. And I think that Derek Carr is going to be a good quarterback for him. That trio looks like it's going to be good for Vegas. I just think they lost to the better team. And this is actually my point spread pick for the week. I got the Raiders winning this one here. I think the last time I checked the spread, Vegas was favored by 3.5. I think Vegas covers. I think they improved to 1-1 and they dropped the Cardinals to 0-2. They're missing DeAndre Hopkins, man. But I got Vegas winning and I got them covering, so I'm going to say Vegas wins 24-20. All right, next up, we got Sunday Night Football. Check your local listings. I don't know why on earth this has to be a Sunday night game every year, but whatever. I know it's a historical rivalry, but, I mean, come on. It's two franchises going in two completely different directions. Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Although I will say the Bears, they had an impressive upset over the 49ers. Justin Fields played pretty well against the 49ers. Bears defense got the job done, so they're 1-0. Surprising win for the Bears. Then the Packers, they got completely dominated by Minnesota, and it looks like Aaron Rodgers is missing Davante Adams, man. I don't know who his favorite target is now, but if this is a recurring theme all year for Green Bay, they got to go receiver in the draft, or Aaron Rodgers, that massive extension that Green Bay gave him, it's going to go to waste. They got completely dominated by Minnesota, plain and simple. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, I will say one thing, though. It's that it's a primetime game, it's at Lambeau, and they're playing the Bears. So, do the arithmetic. Aaron Rodgers just does not lose to the Bears, let alone at home, let alone in primetime. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to improve to 1-1 because now the Bears, bless their souls, they get to deal with pissed off Aaron Rodgers, and this is actually my lock of the week. Give me Green Bay to beat the Bears in my lock of the week. Next up, we got two Monday night games this week, and they both should be pretty interesting. First at bat, we got the Tennessee Titans heading to Buffalo to play the Bills. Titans, they had a surprising loss to the Giants. Mike Vrabel, defending Coach of the Year, choking a 13-0 lead to the Giants. That's pretty surprising. I don't know too much about their quarterback situation right now, but I don't know about Ryan Tannehill. I just don't trust Ryan Tannehill. They ought to. I think at some point they're gonna be like playing musical chairs at quarterbacks this year. So Tennessee, I just don't think that they're that special of a team that everyone says that they are. Then you got the Buffalo Bills. What I saw from the Bills Thursday night, especially in the second half, was incredible. This is a Super Bowl caliber team right here. And I love the team that they have in Buffalo. I mean, obviously I'm not a Bills fan, but I'm telling you, if the Steelers don't make the playoffs, I have no problem rooting for Buffalo to make a deep playoff run. I like that team that they have a lot up there. That is a damn good team they have there. I mean, Josh Allen played well enough to win, in my opinion. I mean, he had 2 interceptions, but one of them, the receiver has to catch the ball. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. The receiver has to catch the ball. The second one, though, was Allen's fault. I mean, he threw it late, and I think it was Troy Hill that beat the read, and he jumped all over it and made the play. But really, Josh Allen buckled down after that and played a much better game. The Bills' defense looked amazing as well. This is a Super Bowl caliber team. This is why Buffalo is my pick to win the Super Bowl right now. However, I will say the Titans usually give Buffalo some headaches, as we've seen in the past couple years. I don't think that'll be the case this time. I think the Bills get over the hump, and I think that they get the job done over Tennessee. Give me the Bills to knock off the Titans and improve to 2-0 with their impressive start to the year. Give me the Bills to beat the Titans. And then rounding out week 2, we got the Minnesota Vikings heading to Philly to play the Eagles, as the Vikings, coming off a dominant win over the Green Bay Packers. Defense kept Aaron Rodgers under siege, locked down their targets, and Green Bay had no response. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, that is going to be a deadly combo if the Vikings, get their act together. And I really do think that this is a playoff team up in Minnesota. The Vikings, they play all their cards right. They could honestly steal the North from the Packers. Vikings, I think that they're a way better team than what people give them credit for. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles. They got the job done over Detroit, but they did not. They won a close one, 38-35, after being up by multiple scores twice. I don't know what that was a product of. If, the Eagles just kind of let up and gave up garbage time points, or if the Eagles aren't as good as I think. In either case, I would be concerned if I was an Eagles fan. And that's why, honestly, I got Minnesota taking this game. I think the Vikings go into Philly and they beat the Eagles here. I think that Philly's going to be... if they let the Lions' rebuilding offense hang in there with them, they're going to have a lot of problems with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins, man. I think this has trap game written all over it, and I think Minnesota... I don't think they pull off the upset. I don't really even know if you can call this an upset. I think it can go either way. But I think Minnesota's offense is just more established than Philly's offense is, and I think that's your difference for this game. I like the Vikings in this one. Give me the Vikings to knock off the Eagles to round out week 2. That'll do it. Those are my week 2 picks for the 2022 NFL season. And like I always say, if you're enjoying the new channel, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are posted down below. Steel Sermon, checking on out for the night. May God be with you all.